One of the most intriguing positions the Dallas Cowboys must upgrade is tight end. It's clear Blake Jarwin and Dalton Schultz didn't produce as much as Cowboys Nation would have wanted in 2018, but it doesn't necessarily mean it was only because of their performance. However it may be, the team is still looking for the next Jason Witten, and although they're not likely to find one, I'd take a look at the free agents available. Last week I wrote about why I believe tight end is a position that should be addressed in free agency rather than in the NFL draft. The reason why is that to really upgrade the position, they probably would have to draft a tight end in the second round. A late third-round pick or a later one will probably not be enough to considerably improve a room that counts with Blake Jarwin and Dalton Schultz. This duo improved as the season went on in 2018, and with a new offensive coordinator in Kellen Moore, it should see more production than in Scott Linehan's offense. A few interesting tight ends will be available in free agency, but I'm looking right at the former Tay of the Cincinnati Bengals, Tyler Eifert. I know. Eifert has quite a history with injuries. He's dealt with elbow, knee and back injuries throughout his career and is a high-risk player. He's missed 34 games in the last 3 years. Ouch. But the truth is, he's also a high-reward player. When he's healthy, he's an incredible athlete. In 2015 he caught 52 passes for 615 yards and 13 touchdowns. His career average yards per reception is 12.1. He hasn't averaged less than 10 in any of his seasons. The Dallas Cowboys brought in a premium wide receiver in Amari Cooper and watched the benefits unfold on the football field week after week. Bringing a reliable target at tight end could drastically help Dak Prescott improve in his fourth year in the league. The main concern around Tyler Eifert is his health and availability. That's why he's considered a risky free agent. So let's assume the worst for a second. Let's say Eifert does go down at some point of the season. The downside to that would be going back to Blake Jarwin and a second-year version of Dalton Schultz. Would that really be that bad? Scott Linehan's offenses didn't use tight ends as much. Let's see what they can do with Kellen Moore calling the shots. I'm convinced we'd see more from them. Jarwin flashed his potential when he caught 3 touchdowns and 119 yards in Week 17 versus the New York Giants. Besides that game, Jarwin was targeted more than 3 times in only 2 games. Tyler Eifert is worth a risk. He shouldn't be an expensive free agent given his history, even though he's only 28 years old and could have a lot left in the tank. Best case scenario, he doesn't get injured and plays like a legit NFL starting K and takes the Cowboys' passing game to the next level. I'm here for it. Considering the difference between best case scenario and the worst, I'd take the risk. 2019 free agency tight end Tyler Eifert. Heading into the 2018 season, Byron Jones was being asked to prove himself. The former first-round pick had fallen out of the coach's good graces during his 3rd season, though many of his struggles could be attributed to those very coaches, which were then questioning his ability. Being asked to play out of position, or at least in a spot which did not maximize his natural ability, Jones struggled in 2017. Too often he was playing in the box as a safety, where his lack of physicality was exposed by the opponent's run game. This was mostly due to the coaching staff falling in love with his tight end erasing ability in man coverage, but backfired when overused as a safety. Once hired the following offseason, Chris Richard and company decided to move Byron Jones to cornerback full-time, allowing him to utilize his excellent coverage skills and athletic ability to the fullest, rather than putting him at a disadvantage in the box. The results? Well, Jones had one of the best seasons of any cornerback in football, earning All-Pro and Pro Bowl honors for the first time in his young career. Byron Jones had a dominant season for Dallas. Pro Football Focus graded Jones as the 6th best cornerback in all of football last season, allowing just 0.79 yards per coverage snap. Despite not having an interception on the season, Jones still earned national recognition as one of the best cornerbacks in the entire league. Down the stretch of the season, Chidobe Awuzie started to play up to the level which fans had hoped for during the preseason. He had been sticky in coverage most of the year, but now he was making plays on the ball at a much better rate, forcing incompletions. This led to an increase in targets to Jones' side, and though the increase resulted in more catches given up by the number 1 cornerback, I don't think Jones' play faltered as much as some will have you believe. The fact is, when you get targeted more, you are bound to give up more catches and yards. The key is to force them into contested catches, and make things as difficult for the receiver as possible when targeted. Byron Jones continued to do this all season long, and fans should be excited for the next step of his growth in 2019. Por muchos años, el tema del tope salarial ha sido un tema sensible para los Dallas Cowboys. Entre dinero muerto y otros problemas, el equipo ha tenido una situación delicada en este aspecto. Sin embargo, para la temporada del 2019 tienen más espacio de lo que estamos acostumbrados. Según over the cap, los Cowboys tendrán aproximadamente $48 millones disponibles en 2019. Es importante recalcar que este número no es definitivo y puede cambiar. Año tras año, esta administración ha sido aficionada de reestructurar los contratos de ciertos veteranos para liberar espacio salarial constantemente. Además de esto, hay varios jugadores bajo contrato que el equipo podría decidir cortar para liberar aún más dinero. Al ver solo 48 millones disponibles, es complicado imaginar un escenario en que el equipo logre satisfacer todos sus objetivos. Hay bastantes candidatos a grandes extensiones en el equipo, principalmente 2 jugadores. En una liga en la que quarterback es la posición más importante, la segunda más importante podría ser la del Cowboys, cuyo objetivo es ir tras el quarterback contrario. Pues en Dallas, hay 2 jugadores en estas posiciones que hay que extender. El más urgente sin duda es el defensive end de Marcus Lawrence. Lawrence se puso el jersey del equipo cuando este lo designó a jugar bajo la etiqueta franquicia. Afortunadamente, el atleta de 26 años le hizo de soldado y jugó sin amenazar con falta de entrenamientos ni pretemporada. Lo que sí comentó es que no pasaría por lo mismo en 2019. Ahora, el momento está aquí y es tiempo de que los Cowboys lo extienden. El valor de Lawrence es difícil de predecir, pero es bastante seguro que se acercará a los números de Khalil Mack. Mack hizo historia ganando un contrato que en promedio gana $23.5 millones al año. Si bien no anticiparía que lo supere, la cifra estará cerca al contrato del defensivo de los Chicago Bears. Además está Dak Prescott, cuyo contrato probablemente estará por encima de los 25 millones anuales. Son contratos caros, pero son piezas fundamentales para el equipo. Definitivamente se les tiene que pagar a ambos. Son pilares que año tras año buscan equipos en toda la NFL. Además de esto, Amari Cooper, Ezekiel Elliott, Cole Beasley y más podrían tener un impacto en el tope salarial. Algunos buscan un contrato nuevo, otros una extensión. Pero honestamente, me parece que habrá más espacio en el tope salarial de lo que pensamos. Solo es cuestión de tiempo para que los Cowboys comiencen a reestructurar a sus veteranos para ahorrarse unos cuantos millones para utilizar en agencia libre. Tyron Smith, Tyrone Crawford entre otros pueden ser buenas opciones para comenzar este proceso. Antes era Jason Witten uno de los candidatos favoritos para este proceso, pero él ya se encuentra comentando partidos para ESPN. En Inside the Star, continuaremos actualizándote con contenido al día de los Dallas Cowboys. Super Bowl 53 is in the books, and the Dallas Cowboys can look back on a better-than-expected 2018 campaign. Having won the NFC East with a 10-6 record and bowing up to eventual finalists Los Angeles Rams, the Cowboys' young team can look ahead to 2019 as a chance to take another step forward. The offseason is now upon us, with the NFL free agency period opening in the middle of March and the NFL draft coming around at the end of April. Until those times, experts, pundits, and fans are left to assess their teams and predict their activities in the running to the start of next season. The Dallas Cowboys are in a precarious position, with the team exceeding expectations, still being very young and having plenty of cap space, but also having many top-end players set to become free agents and being without a first-round pick in this year's draft. There does, however, appear to be a way for the team to make improvements and solidify their place atop the NFC East and potentially go on to win in the conference finals. Lock down the big guns at Randy81 Moss retires, via Twitter. Mini C. DeMarcus Lawrence as the top potential free agent this spring, so the Dallas Cowboys need to do everything in their power to lock down the 26-year-old defensive end. Vice President Stephen Jones has emphasized the team's target of retaining their own stars, per Star-Telegram, with Lawrence, Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, Ezekiel Elliott, and perhaps Byron Jones being in the discussion for long-term deals. As it stands, the team will have roughly $48.5 million in cap space for next season, which leaves plenty of space to re-sign their top players. They look set to let go of Tavon Austin, David Irving, and quite possibly Cole Beasley, among others, leaving a need to add reinforcements. Adding new talent at Burkicks, via Twitter. One of the most heavily rumored moves for Dallas in this free agency is picking up native Texan and former Legion of Boom linchpin Earl Thomas, per Forbes. Against the Rams in the playoffs and throughout the season, the Cowboys lacked a defenseman who could make plays on the pass. Thomas is one of the notorious ball hawks in the league, boasting 28 career interceptions, 3 of which came in just 4 games of last season. If the Cowboys can re-sign their stars while keeping some space for an Earl Thomas-sized contract, which clocked in at $10.4 million in 2018 for the Seattle Seahawks, their odds of going all the way next season will significantly increase. Right now, the expected names of the New England Patriots and Kansas City Chiefs lead the odds to win the next Super Bowl at 750. Behind them, the Rams sit at 900, having suffered a suffocating defeat in this year's Super Bowl. Much further down are the Cowboys at 2,500 right now with Redbet. If they re-sign Lawrence, pay their young stars, and bring in Thomas, they'll shoot up the table of favorites. Then, there's also the additions in the draft to consider. The Cowboys may be without a first-round selection, but that may end up working in their favor. Round 1 of the 2019 NFL Draft is set to be laden with defensive selections according to most mock drafts, with a few quarterbacks sprinkled around and a minimal selection of offensive weapons. If the Cowboys re-sign Lawrence, they'll be looking good at defensive end, so should then turn to giving Prescott another weapon in the passing game, which will also help to keep defenses honest and give Elliott more room to operate. As stated, the NFL is a passing league, and Prescott exploded once he was given a viable option in Amari Cooper. Michael Gallup is expected to take another step forward next season, but just in case, the Cowboys can add another strong receiving option in the draft thanks to the strength of the defensive class. A.J. Brown of Ole Miss will almost certainly go in the first round, but exciting talents in DK Metcalf, Paris Campbell, Marquise Brown, and Deebo Samuel could all still be available when Dallas rings in during the second round. Improving Dallas' pass options and pass defense will go a long way toward improving the team and allowing them to push on to a bigger and better campaign in 2019.